As with any data synchronization operation involving multiple nodes, there are two main modes of operation: a single master mode and a multi-master mode. In a single master mode, one of the nodes is designated as the master and makes updates, while the other nodes are slaves that pull updates from the master node. In a multi-master mode, more than one node might be making updates and changes are pulled to all nodes. Let's start with looking at how the MDM data synchronization happens with SQL MDS. Then we'll look at how the data synchronization might differ in a single master and multi-master modes. Here we have AX instance 1, which contains the customer entity. Then we have SQL MDS, which also contains the same customer entity, and another instance of AX containing the customer entity. You will notice that the first instance has records for Fabricam and MSFD Corporation. In SQL MDS, the second record is the customer name is actually Microsoft Corporation. The first thing that happens is, let's say you create a new record in AX instance 1 called Contoso LLC. Then when the data sync happens, Contoso LLC is created in the SQL MDS database. And then when the pull happens, you'll notice that Microsoft Corporation, the customer A222, gets pulled into AX instance 1, and the customer name gets updated from MSFD Corporation to Microsoft Corporation. Then you have AX instance 2. Let's say a new record gets created there called AdventureWorks. When the data sync happens between AX instance 2 and SQL MDS, a new record is created in the SQL MDS database, and then during the pull phase, the Contoso LLC record, which was originally created in AX instance 1, gets pulled into AX instance 2. Now, let's look at how this process differs between single and multi-master modes. In a single master mode, only one instance is allowed to write to MDS. All other instances are read-only. MDS records overwrite any changes in the other instances. The single master mode can be defined at an entity level, so it's possible to have some entities configured in a single master mode and others in a multi-master mode. You may need to enforce that the slaves do not update data directly using the application by customizing security within the application. In a multi-master mode, any instance is allowed to create and modify records. Conflicts are automatically detected in SQL MDS at a record level, and then conflict resolution needs to be performed manually using the MDS Excel add-in. Let's now look at this in a slide. Here we have again two instances of AX and a SQL MDS. The customer's entity is configured in multi-master mode, and so when synchronization happens, customers are synchronized from both instances of AX with SQL MDS. New customers created in AX instance 1 get pushed to SQL MDS, and any customers created in AX instance 2 are also pushed to MDS. When the pull operation happens, customers that might have been created in the other instance of AX will get pulled into your AX instance. In a single master mode, we have an example here of products being configured where AX instance 1 is configured to be the master for products. When there is a push or a pull, products from AX instance 1 get pushed into SQL MDS. Then AX instance 2 only pulls products because it is not a master for products. Any changes that are made in AX instance 1 get reflected in AX instance 2, but changes that are made, AX instance 2 itself does not make any changes to products that would impact updating AX instance 1. In the previous lesson, we saw how to configure an entity using multi-master mode. Now let me show you how to configure an entity in single master mode. We're going to move to the data import export framework. And here I'm going to click on the manage synchronization form. We're going to select the customer sync group that we created and click on entities. And then on the customer entity, I'm going to select the settings button. Here you can see that the customer's entity is configured to be of synchronization types push and pull. If you want to configure the customer entity in this particular instance to be a pull only, in which case it would be a slave instance, then you can change this setting here to pull. You get a warning that says setting the operation to pull only mode will overwrite local data when there are changes in MDS. And if we can select yes, and this would make the entity a pull only entity. Since we only have one instance of AX in this environment, I'm not going to set the entity to pull, and I'm going to cancel out of this. I'm going to reset this back to push and pull and close the entity. So let's start with trying to change the customer entity to be single master mode. For this, let's go into the data import export framework and click on manage synchronization. We have the customer sync group. Let's select the entities, and on the customer entity we're going to select settings. Here you can see that the synchronization type has been set to push and pull for this entity. The other option you have is to pull only. If we set the synchronization type to pull only, then any changes that have been made to SQL MDS from another instance outside of this particular instance will get pulled into AX, but any changes that are made in this AX application instance will not be pushed into SQL MDS. So let's change this to pull only and click on yes in this dialog. This dialog is telling us that if we change it to pull only mode, any changes that are made in MDS will overwrite local data. Let's then close this form. And now I'm going to close the entities form and simulate a change to SQL MDS from an external system, and then show you how that change manifests itself within AX. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into accounts receivable, all customers, and you'll notice there's a customer called Birch Company with customer account 027. Let's edit the Birch Company here to change the name to Birch Company AX to mark that this record is something that is being changed from AX. Let's then go into the data import export framework and synchronize these changes. We're going to create a new schedule and press OK to immediately synchronize these changes. You'll notice that because it's in pull mode, no records were imported and no records were updated from this instance of AX. Now let's simulate a change that might have happened to SQL MDS from outside of AX. To do this, we're going to use Excel. I'm going to go into Excel, and we are connected to the SQL MDS server. Let's find the customer 027 and then find the column for the name and change this to Birch Company Excel. It's right around here. I'm going to change the name to Birch Company Excel to mark that this record is being changed from Excel. Now, if you had a second instance of AX, that might be the one pushing, that's the master for customer and pushing changes to SQL MDS. Now that we made a change here, I can publish these changes back into SQL MDS. Let's hit publish. The changes have been published, and I can now go back into AX and create a new schedule to synchronize data and hit OK. You will now see that one customer record was imported from the SQL master data service into staging, and one record was updated from the staging table into the target, which is a customer. So if we go back into the customers list in accounts receivable and all customers, you'll see that the change that was made in Excel made it back into AX. So we saw that the change from AX did not get pushed to Excel because it was in single master mode, but the change in Excel made it back into AX. You just saw how you can quite easily change the mode of synchronization between a single master mode and multi-master mode. Now, let's take a look at how you can do conflict detection and resolution in multi-master mode.